My video for March the 25th, 2020 is video number 3406. The title is a very long video by David Wilcock. A couple days ago, several friends sent me a video by David Wilcock where he had several glitches. It was a live feed and it was very difficult for me to watch him struggle as he tried to deal with his technical issues. Now, I don't do live feeds myself and probably never will. My practice is to edit my videos before they go live, trimming them so as to not waste people's time. A couple friends were upset that I lacked patience, and so be it. Fortunately, I was sent David's remake where he started fresh. It included what he was talking about in the previous try and lasted over 5 hours. I stayed with him the entire time. It was very well done and had thousands of people watching the live stream. When it was completed, I felt uplifted. Yes, I do know some people have issues with him, and I have to admit that I do myself at times. The same is true for others who make videos. The relatively few times I go back and watch my own videos, I chuckle because I also have issues with things I've said myself. Anyway, I do hope the swamp really is being drained and all the fuss in the mainstream media is actually due to a fact that the Donald and his team are actually succeeding in bringing justice for the many crimes of the so-called elite establishment. Now, as I start this video, I'm reminded that I have friends that have told me that Donald Trump is the swamp. And of course, there is a political divide because liberals want certain things and conservatives want something altogether different. I'm a conservative. I do not appreciate the erosion of human rights that is pushed by the so-called left. And I am appalled at some of the things that our political leaders and our religious leaders and others in the mainstream are doing to humanity. To me, it's appalling that they have been able to get away with some of their practices for such a long time, especially their sick practice of the pedophilia and the mistreatment of little children, even babies, and the cannibalism and other things that I'm aware have been going on and have been being exposed by some courageous whistleblowers, so many of whom have been killed because of exposing what the elite are doing. So I'm really applauding not just David Wilcock, but the many people that are courageous enough to stand in there and continue to do their best to point out some of the insanity that has been going on this planet for such a long time. I want there to be an awakening, and I want there to be taking responsibility by a God that really does love and care. So people like David Wilcock and David Icke and many, many others, I like what they're trying to do. I forgot his name. Benjamin Fulford is another one that I appreciate, and even the Chinese Dragon family, and many, many people have been whistleblowers and tried to awaken others to some of the horrific things that are being done in our name by people that we're supposed to respect. So when the Donald talks about draining the swamp, I hope he means bringing justice to all of these people that supposedly are on the sealed indictments. And I mean, this includes Hollywood celebrities and sports figures and people that are in high places in religion and in various corporations, and the whole structure of a corporation to me is part of the, not just part of, but central to all of the crimes that have been committed and have continued unabated for years, and even gotten worse and worse and worse with people like the Bush family and the Clintons and Obama and a whole bunch of people in the political establishment are just horrific people, and they're pushing a guy for president of the United States on the Democratic side that is demented. He has dementia. I mean, it's obvious, and other people have noticed it and pointed it out, or otherwise I may not have noticed it myself, because I only notice it because people tell me things. So anyway, I spent 5+ hours watching David Wilcock and listening to what he was saying and nodding my approval. I mean, I didn't go and, like I sometimes do, and go into a different room or lay down with my eyes closed or anything. I mean, I actually sat at the computer until actually half of his meditation at the end. It wasn't until the meditation that I actually got up and started doing other things. I stayed with him the whole time, and believe me, folks, that's rare for me. I've been trying my best to get away from the computer as much as I possibly can, though I still spend many hours every day at the computer. You know, sometimes it's like a full-time job. I don't know if it's always 8 hours, but I mean, I'm sure there's times that I'll spend at least 5 to 6 hours a day at the computer, answering emails and trying to respond to comments on my videos. And again, I don't go back and watch old videos, very rarely. I mean, after they're a week old, I don't even have them up on my computer anymore. I do save them all on an external hard drive, but I don't go back and watch them unless somebody brings something to my attention that I said and wants clarification. And that does happen from time to time, but not that often. Anyway, I applaud all the light workers here and around the world that are actually trying to bring truth to bear and shine a light into the dark places where a criminal elite have gotten away with very serious crimes, not just in our lifetime, but going back in centuries and maybe in some cases millennia. We need a real shift. We need real change, not to believe in, but something to experience. And we need to have the swamp drained. And I'm glad for people like this David and the David Icke that I mentioned that are doing their best over a long period of time to alert us to some of the gross injustices and the things that need to be addressed. And thankfully, it does seem sometimes to me that the Donald really is draining the swamp, that he really is bringing action, and it's all the troops in Europe and stuff like that. There's 10 countries involved in that exercise, and supposedly it's to arrest the elite establishment that are hiding all over the world, that have been guilty of these crimes against humanity for, as I said, for a long, long, long time. And I'm hoping that God really does empower those of us that are trying to shine the light into the darkness so that humanity can become free at last and escape the bondage of lies and deception that has gone on for such a long time in our lives. Thank you, folks, again for listening, and namaste.